Good evening and thank you for joining us here on UCTV News. I'm Hector Molina.
And I'm Lindsey Kane.
Police have obtained arrest warrants for two men wanted in connection with the murder of Francisco de la Cruz Co. According to NBC Connecticut, the murder happened in Willimantic over the weekend. Police said they have a nationwide search for 24-year-old Juan Chach and 26-year-old Ignacio Chach Aparez in connection with the crime. The warrants for Chach and Chach Aparez were entered into the National Crime Information Center.
The families of the victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting are appealing a judge's ruling dismissing their lawsuit against a gun manufacturer. The families are seeking a lawsuit against the Remington Outdoor Company liable for the massacre because it marketed a gun to the public that it knew was made for military use. Adam Lanza fired 154 bullets in less than 5 minutes, killing 26 people, including 20 first graders, on December 14, 2012. The appeal was filed today, although most legal experts expect it to go right to the Supreme Court. The victim's family's lawyer, Josh Koskoff, said, "These families deserve to have their case heard in court and decided by a jury, and we will do everything we can to make that happen."
Several University of Connecticut students are funding an organization designed to increase student participation at the university's library with the help of library administrators. Students, in conjunction with administrators, are establishing the Homies, Friends of the UConn Library organization. Samantha Morrison, a Friends of the UConn Library Executive Board member, said the organization welcomes undergraduate and graduate students, in addition to members of the larger UConn and Mansfield community, to increase student engagement with the library. The organization has held 2 meetings thus far this semester and plans to hold 3 more before semester's end. Now, Lindsay, it's great that UConn's putting a program in place to, increase user friendliness and student engagement in the library.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a great thing that UConn is starting to do. I mean, the library shouldn't just be a place where you have to cram for exam. It can be a fun place to go and study too, so.
Yeah, nothing's set in stone yet, but I think they're putting the right building blocks in place to have, a great program at the library in months to come.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice step that UConn is taking.
Definitely.
Last week, UConn students gathered at the center of campus to protest the election of Donald Trump. UCTV's Eliza Canner was at the scene. Let's take a look.
Just hours after Donald Trump was named president-elect, distraught students met in the center of campus to express their concern with this presidential election. As of early this morning, the final count for electoral votes was 276 to 228 Trump, and students have not held back voicing their opinions on the election results. Students displayed Hillary Clinton signs, Love Trump's hate signs, and wore black to stand in solidarity with the immigrant communities, LGBTQ community, women, Muslims, and communities of color who have felt attacked by Donald Trump.
Complacency is only helping the forces that have brought us here. So really coming together, despite our differences, I think unity is really important, and to take action.
Police in neon orange were at the rally to ensure that the protests remained nonviolent.
We're trying to keep that peace to make sure that we can have a very safe and great rally, honestly.
Not only were Clinton supporters at the rally, but Trump supporters were watching as their peers chanted, "Trump is not my president."
I think a lot of people on this campus are probably afraid to express political views that dissent when it comes to this group. So, I mean, as we saw, the results were unexpected. So there are a lot of people out there who feel differently.
Over 200 students showed up to the protest, and numerous on-campus organizations are offering students resources to help cope with the results.
I think it's important for the world as well. People are watching us, and they're watching what we as the United States are doing, so we need to set an example.
The rain didn't stop students from gathering here to support one another after last night's results. Reporting from UCTV News, I'm Eliza Canner.
Joining here now with UCTV's Ben Buczek. Ben, that rally, it was great to see that it happened, the whole UConn community coming together. It happened right here in Storrs on such a very monumental day.
It was probably one of the larger protests in the state, and it's just nice to see students practicing their right to protest in a nonviolent manner.
Yeah, they definitely took the term peaceful protest into effect with that rally.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Now moving on to your UConn sports update. Bad luck continues for men's basketball as they couldn't keep up with Northeastern, losing a tight one in Gamble last night, 64-61. Alterique Gilbert stole the ball with just seconds left for an opportunity to score the game-tying three, but couldn't pull off the miracle as the shot was just inches off. Northeastern led the majority of the game as UConn had to play catch-up the entire time, showing similar struggle from their game against Wagner. Missed opportunities and careless shooting is what did it for UConn as they went 6 for 13 at the free throw line and 39% for field goals. This is the first time Northeastern beat UConn since 1985 and the first time at Gamble. UConn is now 0-2 for the first time since 1968. The team has a few days to figure out their issues before heading to their first away game against Loyola Marymount this Thursday. Now for some good news in UConn sports. The 6th-ranked women's field hockey team upset the number 3 Syracuse Orange in double overtime, setting themselves for their 4th straight Final Four appearance. It was junior Charlotte Veitner with the game-winning goal in the 91st minute to knock off the Orange. UConn hopes to be crowned national champions for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. They face number 4 North Carolina next Friday in the Final Four. Now, Hector, I was at the game last night covering it, and the one thing I noticed about the men's basketball team is they know how to set up themselves for good opportunities, but they don't know how to follow through, and there was a lot of bad shooting in the paint.
Yeah, they missed a lot of easy looks at the basket. That wasn't the outing that many expected to see from UConn. That outing and the outing against Wagner, how you mentioned earlier. It's just, we have the pieces, we have the right guys out there. It's just putting the pieces together and having come together for a good product, and that's just not what we have seen so far. But it's early in the season. You don't like to see UConn lose at all, but good thing that it comes early and that there's still a lot of time to turn things around.
Definitely a different look for men's basketball, but I know Coach Kevin Ollie is a good enough coach to turn things around.
Right, and like I said, there's much time left in the season. I think we'll see the real UConn that we're expected to seeing, on the hardwood.
Well, hopefully that happens.
Definitely.
Well, that wraps up your UConn Sports Update for the week. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow our YouTube page for constant news updates around UConn and stores.
From all of us here at UCTV News, thank you and good night.